Southwest Florida, welcome back. We're so glad to get back in here a renowned author. The name of his book is Are You Still Broken? And you'll see this book coming up on the screen throughout the day. Terence Pollard is his name. Terence, welcome back to Leap Pitts Live, man.
Man, thanks for having me back here, Mr. Pitts.
Should I call you Reverend, or I just want people to know that you have a background in the ministry as well?
No, you can call me Terence.
All right, Real. I see that.
That's all right.
Give me a chance to do a little jokey joke. Are You Broken stems from Have You Been Broken Yet? The last time you were on our show, you talked about Have You Been Broken Yet? So I guess there was a lot of response from that, and now you're taking it to the next level. But before we get to that, you have overcome a tremendous illness, and God has you standing here tall and strong. Now tell us about that.
Yes, sir. In 2017, I was actually diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And so I had to go through 31 treatments. Then I had surgery, and then I had to go, I had to go back through 84 more treatments of radiation and chemo.
And how's your health now?
It was excellent.
That's great. Now, and your advice to people as it relates to their colon?
Get checked. Don't wait, get checked.
Get checked. There you go. While you were sick and shut in and going through your chemo, your mind was turning then on books. Your mind's always on books. Because I know you wrote a child book too.
Yes. And during my recovery, because I never had surgery before, I was sitting there thinking, what's the next step? And then Are You Still Broken? And the children's book, I Am Unique, was birthed during that process.
And we have information on the screen that's appearing throughout the interview. Our viewers can see on how to get in touch with you and how to get your all of your books, all your material when they go to that information that's on the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
The response from the public on, well, first of all, Are You Still Broken? How would you capsulize this book?
Okay, Are You Still Broken picks up from where Have You Been Broken Yet dropped off.
Like I said, two movies.
Yes,
the
sir.
Sequel.
So basically, what I did, I went just a little bit deeper into process and really giving you some real things that you can really grab hold to make some tangible changes
In your life. You know, when I was reading the book, it was when I first started reading the book, because when I look at the title, I'm like, okay, where, and I couldn't put it down. It was so good. The information that you were given, a lot of the information and the things that you put into the book, that comes from your own personal experiences or being observing other people.
Yes, sir. Basically, Are You Still Broken? That's pretty much come from my personal experience, and then also what I try to do, I try to go back old school and try to tie in some old sayings from old school and that people can really relate to. And so I try to cross those boundaries as well.
Give us a full example of an old school.
Old school, long handle spoon.
Okay.
Handle people with a
long handle spoon.
Yes, sir. And so you laugh, and so therefore you can relate with it. And so when you deal with certain people, you have to deal with them with a long handle spoon.
What has been the response from people to your book?
Oh, they love it. And in fact, they're looking for the next book.
You make your books easy to read too. It's simple, it's not too thick, and it's a get to the point. Who is your audience?
My audience, what I learned from Mr. Pitts the last time I was here, my audience is everybody. And because you know what, the thing is, when I thought about it, and everybody who pick up the book, they love the books. And so therefore, I've encapsulated that anybody who can read, you'll love it. Because it's created where it's short stories, and before you know it, you're at the end.
Yeah, that's the point I want you to make reference to, the fact that you got a lot of short stories in there, almost like parables in some sense. Expound on that.
Well, and the good thing about the stories is, like, being someone who went to college and got tired of literature and all that, so I said, okay, let me give someone who don't like to read, give them an opportunity to start reading something. It just kind of like, okay, let me wiggle the bait to them to entice them to grab the bait and start reading more.
What's the goal for this book?
The goal for this particular book is to fix some of the issues that you have in what's going on in your life. If you have like a long, drawn out situation with someone that you're not speaking to, it's going to entice you to get in touch with them to try to fix that relationship.
What did you learn from your last book?
What I learned from my last book is that people want this information. They love this information.
What do you want people to take away from the book?
From this particular book, I want you to take away that you may be broken, and you still could be broken, but you know what? There's a solution. And so that solution is get the book, do the work, and you'll be a better person for it.
Why don't you read us a little excerpt there from your book?
Oh, absolutely. The book
That's in the chapter title.
is page 41, The Prodigal Son. One of my favorite stories in the Bible can be found in Luke 15, The Prodigal Son. The premise of the parable is where this young man asked and received his inheritance from his father, and eventually he blew it in righteous living, which consequently the young man spent everything and ended up in the pig's pen. Once he arrived at the lowest point in his life, he finally came to his senses. Now, let's transfer that to the modern family. And so therefore, I kind of stopped there, but the premise is the prodigal son exists in all families. The prodigal son, and I just couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that this young man went to his father before he died, because protocol is wait until your parents die, and then you get your inheritance. But the father, he didn't want his son he knew that his son was going to make stupid mistakes. And so therefore, he had to allow his son to allow life to put him back into perspective.
Excellent. Now, you're also a publisher too. What does that do in turn for you or others and for you to be a publisher?
Well, the publishing aspect is I welcome authors who have an idea, who have some material that they're interested in trying to get published. And I have a great relationship with Ingram and Sparks, which is a major distributor. And so what I want to do is welcome them, nurture their skill set, and help them get to the next level.
Is it expensive to publish a book, to get the process going? I'm thinking about writing a book myself, but I'm afraid of telling everything. My book will certainly be autobiographical.
Yes, sir. Well, it can be costly, but at the same time, at the end, you have that sense of like that you succeeded at something that you always wanted to do.
Everybody needs to get their book done. By the way, I did a video documentary, the Lee Pitts. People who are watching the show, if you go on YouTube and just type in the autobiography of Lee Pitts, you'll find it, and you'll find it quite interesting. It was a video, a verbal account thing with photos. Back to you, though. I'm just getting that little plug in. Your long-term goal.
Long-term goal is to be a force to be reckoned with, and that
You're already a force to be reckoned with.
My actual big-time goal that I have set, that I focus on every single day, is become a New York Times bestseller.
I see.
And because currently I am, Have You Been Broken Yet was actually identified as a bestseller. But my goal is I want to keep pushing the envelope, keep working hard, and keep staying focused to become a New York Times bestseller.
You won some awards too. Your book won an award, didn't it?
Yes.
Like a legend or something like that.
It's actually nominated as a legacy through Ebony magazine.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's outstanding. How did you get into writing, and being the old soul that advises people? I can tell that throughout your life, people have come to you for advice, and you've been able to give advice. Were you like mature beyond your age at an early age, like I was, and my buddies would be coming to me for advice, and we the same age?
Yeah, yes, sir. And I give credit to that, is the fact that again, going back to the military, growing up in the neighborhood, and just listening to people, and so therefore my thing was there's a gift inside of me that I love to listen, and I love to give some what I think is good advice. And so I've just paired those two together and just say, hey, you know what? If there's an opportunity that presents itself, I want to be able to expound or perhaps enhance someone else's life.
Who was your role model growing up, and do you have role models now as well?
Yes. Like my role model growing up actually was like my father and then my coach, who pushed me to, like, go for your goal. Whatever it is that you want to do, go for it. And now, like, my mentor, I look at Les Brown. I
Right.
love Les Brown, who grew up in Miami, and
Somebody's little baby boy.
Mamie, Mamie's baby boy. But I love Les Brown. I just love his backstory, and I just love the struggle that he came through and eventually succeeded.
And it's a good role model, Les Brown. He's a great motivational speaker.
Yes.
Well, Terence, I tell you, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Looking forward to getting you back in the future. I know you always got another book coming out, and we certainly are glad to be a part at the early stages of an author like yourself who's going to continue to make an impact on society and literature.
Yes, sir. And I thank you for having me here.
As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Terence Pollard, the author of Are You Still Broken, which is a book for everybody.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.